Hello everyone and welcome to Everything That Turned David Banner into the Hulk, Part 4. We're midway through Season 3, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Number 90, trapped in an elevator shaft. Number 91, sealed inside a bank vault. Number 92, beaten up by mobsters who mistake him for another mobster who looks just like him. Number 93, buried in concrete. Number 94, chased through an iron foundry by Jack McGee. Now this episode only had one Hulk out, and the reason is because the whole episode focused on Jack McGee, and from his point of view he was, tracking down the Hulk and all the stuff that he dealt with on a day-to-day basis, trying to track down the Hulk, like trying to convince people that the Hulk was real and that he wasn't just a hack. He argued with his editors and his public image. It was a pretty interesting episode. But from his point of view, we only see David from the distance running away, and then he trips and falls down and turns into the Hulk. And so it is interesting, but it raises a lot of questions about Jack McGee. For one thing, he knows David Banner. He knew him as a scientist. He does think, like everybody else, he thinks David Banner is dead. But he knew what David Banner was working on before he died. Remember, in the first episode, he was trying to figure out why people get strong when they're angry. So he knows that. And he knows that the Hulk's first appearance is connected to David Banner and what he was doing. So he knows a lot already about the Hulk. He knows that the Hulk appears in various unconnected places. He knows that a mysterious guy always appears right before the Hulk shows up. He calls him John Doe, which is weird because he has to know that this mysterious guy is named David. He always goes around giving the name David, and his last name always has a B. And knowing all of this, he still hasn't put it together that David Banner is the Hulk. So he's not much of a reporter, in my opinion. Number 95, forced onto a children's ride at a carnival that's then turned up all the way. Now, back in episode 3, I did a breakdown of the types of things that cause David Banner to Hulk out. Normal things that happen to everyone, getting beat up, and then the things where everything goes wrong all at once. I also mentioned there was a mystery category, and that I would point that category out when I got to the episode. Well, this is it. This is the episode. So he goes on a children's ride looking for something, and while he's in there, someone turns it on. Now, granted, they did turn it up all the way. You can tell by this dial. If you can't tell by the numbers how they go up from 60 to 70 to 80, they have an arrow with the word increase. So they do turn it up all the way, but there's no indication that it's been tampered with. So the fourth category is children's rides that function as they're designed to. Number 96, set on fire by a religious fanatic at a carnival. Number 97, double teamed by hooligans in a bar fight. Now, there was a scene exactly like this in an earlier episode, and I made the comment that this is not how people fight in real life. Now, I can't tell you when was the last fight I was in. I was probably 12 or 13 years old. So I don't know a whole lot about fighting, but I've been in my share of bars, and I can tell you that this doesn't happen in bars. Number 98, motorcycle accident while being chased by a biker gang. Number 99, locked in a dumpster and bitten by rats. Why do you have to pick it up like that? Number 100, doused with cheap booze and locked in a room being pumped full of rat poison. Number 101, burned by a steam pipe while climbing an access tube inside a hotel. Now, I have to confess that I have not watched every one of these episodes going through to make this video. I've skipped through a great deal of them, so I'm just making these cuts just for the sake of this video, but I'm not watching every episode all the way through. Now, I tell you this because I just want to explain I don't remember why David is climbing up this inside this access tube or whatever it is. You know, if I was David Banner, I mean, he seems like he's at least self-aware enough to know that he's going to freak out and lose his shit every once in a while, right? When he just thought about going up in that tube, climbing that ladder in that small space, when he just thought about it, did he kind of say to himself, oh yeah, that's no problem. Well, sure, I could pull that off. No worries. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You know, did he really think that? Or did he say, oh, hell no? I mean, like, does he have any anxiety at all about, oh my God, I'm going up in this tiny little space, 10 stories up, and I'm going to just totally lose my shit, you know? Does that not even occur to him? I mean, if he really thinks of the Hulk as like a person separate from himself, so if he really thinks that way, is it any wonder that the Hulk just hates his gut? I mean, because look at it from the Hulk's point of view, it's like waking up and going, oh shit, where the fuck am I? You know? I mean, like, who is this fucking guy? And I should have made this point last year when David Banner climbed on the wing of a plane to keep it from taking off and then turned into the Hulk. Like, you know, I bet the Hulk was like, what is this, man? What are you doing? Not a single person's life was better for the Hulk being out on the wing of that plane. Number 102, cutting his hand on stemware after being locked in a hotel closet. Number 103, fire in a hospital. Number 104, falling off a balcony after being shot in the face with a zip gun. Now, it doesn't say it on the screen there, but the guy whose life he's saving when he's getting shot in the face with the zip gun is Jack McGee, the reporter that's been pursuing him all this time. When you think about it, he rarely helps the same person more than once, you know, because he's always wandering from town to town to find a way to control the raging spirit that dwells within him. But he helps this guy all the time. Number 105, locked in a freezer. Now this goes back to what I said earlier about needless cruelty. What does this guy think is going to be the best outcome of all the different possibilities? What's the best thing that could happen from locking a guy inside a freezer? And are there really this many people suffering from this level of total psychopathy that a guy like David Banner would run into them at least once a week? Number 106, chained up and thrown in the river. Number 107, thrown from a moving car while trying to save a woman from a serial killer. Number 108, lynch mob. Number 109, cornered by Jack McGee in a library, busting his knee on the door frame, tripping and falling down the stairs, and then breaking a giant vase. Here's another one. It's just like a big Rube Goldberg device, where David is just ricocheting around like a cartoon, you know. In fact, they were probably setting up some kind of video game. Like, hey, have you guys played the new Incredible Hulk on the Atari? Where you have to make it across the room without falling on your face. That's just level 1. By the final level, you dress yourself. Number 110, having his head shut in a door. Number 111, hit by a car and knocked down a manhole while trying to save a kid being kidnapped. Number 112, shot with a tranquilizer dart by mobsters in a hospital. Number 113, leg pinned by a tree during a forest fire. Number 114, falling backwards down a hill and being crushed by logs during a forest fire. Thank you again for joining me on everything that made David Banner turn into the Hulk. I'm your host, Kevin the Chicken. If you liked the video, please click like, share, and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know how I did. And have a nice day. Alright, we're done here.